very good morning to you. It's Friday the 20th of November and you're watching TV AM. I'm Kay Burley.
And I'm Richard Keys. Over the next hour we'll be bringing you all the latest news and sport, including an interview with the Arsenal and England star Kenny Sansom. Also here is Peter Coey at the Money Desk and Trish Williamson by the Weatherboard. First though, the news headlines from Kay.
London Regional Transport will today begin an internal investigation into the King's Cross tube fire which claimed 30 lives. The Prime Minister has already announced there'll be a public inquiry. Investigators are now trying to establish exactly how the fire started and spread so quickly, filling the ticket hall with thick, acrid smoke. Chris Mann reports from King's Cross.
Wearing face masks to protect them from the acrid stench underground, a team of forensic experts worked all day at the scene. They searched for clues in the charred tunnels of what is normally one of London's busiest tube stations.
This is the Piccadilly line ticket area where most of the bodies were found. From the debris, it's obvious that the blaze spread very quickly, and it's easy to imagine the panic, confusion, and sheer terror that there must have been.
In minutes, this central area, teeming with people, had been utterly destroyed. The ticket kiosk, unrecognizable. Machines had melted in the searing heat. Hours later, engineers could still feel it.
You can go down in there after 13, 14 hours, you can still feel like the warmth coming down off the ceilings now, it's so warm.
Many of the victims rode this escalator to their death. Not knowing that disaster lay ahead, they were unable to turn back.
There is no doubt that once people are on an escalator and people are banking up behind them, there is no way are they going to start going down the stairs again, especially against the flow of the escalator.
Outside, two carnations left in sympathy by a train driver and a passenger, and a wreath dedicated to station officer Colin Townsley, left on the very steps that he took to his death. Chris Mann, TVAM, King's Cross.
The King's Cross tube disaster. We'll move on, and in Northern Ireland, the former Loyalist politician George Seawright is critically ill this morning after being shot in Belfast. A group linked to the Irish National Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack on Mr Seawright as he was sitting in a parked car. And finally, there are fears of a further sharp fall in world share prices after congressional leaders in Washington failed to agree on how to cut America's massive budget deficit. They have until midnight tonight before President Reagan is required by law to order spending cuts of $23 billion. Richard.
Very good morning to you. This is TVAM. Good morning to Trish Williamson.
Richard, and a very good morning to everybody else, of course. Well, the first phase of that cooler weather is already with us. It came in last night, and sometimes in some places some temperatures dropped as much as 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. There's a second phase of cooler weather on the way, and that'll be with us on Sunday and Monday when some very icy winds come in from the northeast. Well, at the moment we're still under the influence of northwesterly winds, and that's a very cool, unstable airstream. It's still associated with the depression just east of Ireland, which is moving over towards Europe and sending in some very mixed weather today. The main feature, of course, though, is that it is cooler. A bit more sunshine around today than yesterday. Most of the showers this morning are going to be on the more exposed coastal areas, as you can see, and inland it's going to be a mixture of sunshine and cloud. But let's move on to this afternoon and we can see exactly how those temperatures are being affected by this new northwesterly airstream, dropping quite a bit, a good 2 to 3 degrees Celsius down, as I said, on temperatures yesterday, right down to 8 degrees Celsius up in the north of Scotland. That's more or less normal for this time of the year, and 10s and 11s, the warmest temperatures of the day in the south and the west and in parts of Ireland. Some nice sunny weather this afternoon in the southwest and Wales and even in parts of southern Ireland, but everywhere else this mixture of showers and sun is prevailing, and some cloudier, wetter weather moving into the north of Scotland as another frontal system joins us from the Atlantic. That's all for now. Back to the round table.
Thanks very much indeed, Tricia. It's 4 minutes past 6. Let's have a look at how the papers are reflecting the King's Cross tragedy this morning. We'll start with the Star newspaper. They say simply, hell. Survivors say they sent us into the inferno, goes on the Star.
The Today newspaper making the very best use of colour, of course, which they have available to them. Their front page this morning pictures the Prime Minister, Mrs Thatcher, who made a trip to King's Cross yesterday, accompanied by Chief of the Metropolitan Police, the Fire Brigade too. Epitaph is their headline.
Front page of the Daily Express. They knew Tube was a death trap, says the Daily Express. That refers to a report that London Regional Transport had compiled, highlighting King's Cross as one of 32 stations that needed emergency fire breaks, but apparently they ran out of money before they managed to reach it.
Flashpoint of disaster, the Daily Mail. Vapour clue to the fireball on Tube escalator. The same picture that many of the newspapers are running on the front pages this morning. We've already seen a fairly harrowing report from Chris Mann, who was inside King's Cross Station yesterday when it was open to members of the press.
Very harrowing headline on the front page of The Sun. There it goes. Tube girl 28 loses her face.
I saw the queue of death. Eyewitness report from Mark Silver. I saw the queue. As I escaped, others were being sent down to their doom. Again, the point that Chris made in his report just after we came on the air this morning at 6 o'clock.
Front page of The Guardian. Fire inquiry seeks arson link. And those are some of the injured, including fire officers who were involved in the King's Cross tragedy.
The Independent newspaper, cause of disaster remains a mystery. Nobody yet knows exactly how it happened. The government announces inquiry into King's Cross blade. 30 killed, 53 injured. Those are the official figures now. The picture, rescue workers who had seen the devastation yesterday and had come up for a breath of air after toiling underground.
Finally, the front page of the Daily Telegraph. Again, very emotive pictures. I think they are fire investigators who spent all yesterday trying to find out the cause of the blaze, which claimed 30 lives and injured about 25 other people. There we go. Time now is 7 minutes past 6, and a fire chief has claimed that automatic sprinklers could have saved many lives in the King's Cross fire disaster. It's been revealed that there were sprinklers, but they had to be turned on by underground staff by hand. 3 years ago, London Transport were urged to install extra safety equipment after another station fire, but it seems the advice was rejected. Malcolm Brabant now reports.
24 hours after King's Cross, London Regional Transport LRT were being extra safety conscious during the crush hour. With fewer trains running because of the blaze, passengers had to squeeze onto the platforms, and police restricted access to tubes to prevent accidents.
No entrance this side.
But LRT were accused last night of ignoring warnings that might have reduced the scale of Wednesday's tragedy. After the near-fatal fire at Oxford Circus in 1984, a transport expert predicted a major catastrophe unless safety was improved. His authoritative report called for smoke detectors, sprinkler systems, alarm bells, fire doors and better emergency exit signs. Although LRT says some recommendations were implemented, most were not. As the row over safety intensified, the report's author said that they could easily introduce one of the most important improvements.
Immediately, they would need to consider improving staff training, because they have the resources there, the staff already, and they're under pressure from government cash limits, but they have staff there and training could be improved. But you'd also then need to consider a longer-term programme of investment, smoke detectors, better communication facilities, all those need to be taken on board.
How do the staff need to have their training improved?
At the moment, they're given experience, obviously, in knowing the existing station layouts, in knowing how to use fire extinguishers, water and sand buckets and so on if there's a small smouldering. But as soon as they run the risk of a major conflagration, then the rate at which this can suddenly blow up, we saw on Wednesday, is something where faster procedures need to be taken on board.
London Regional Transport say that their staff training is adequate and falls within the legal regulations. Each year, every underground station worker has to attend two two-hourly periods which deal exclusively with evacuation procedures. They also have to go on a firefighting course lasting 2 days, but there are never ever any fire practices at tube stations. In addition, LRT deny rail union claims that recent redundancies are endangering passengers. They also refute suggestions that the old wooden escalators involved in Wednesday's disaster are highly combustible. 53 of them are still in service, and LRT claim that there's no need to replace them until they're worn out. Malcolm Brabant, TVAM, Central London.
Well, the questions will continue to be asked. We are asking